God, we thank you for our city. We thank you, Lord, for our council members, our mayors. Pray, Lord, that we come together in the spirit of unity to make the decisions for the city that the blessings can continue to flow. So, Father, bless this meeting. In thy name I pray. Amen.
Amen. Pledge allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Roll call.
Carter. Present. Miller.
Present.
Fetal. Taylor Burks.
Present.
Waterman. Williams.
Present.
Woodward.
Present.
Mr. President, you have a quorum.
All right, I need a motion to excuse Councilwoman Waterman and Councilwoman Pedala for personal reasons.
Move.
All right, it's been moved and supported. Any discussion? Seeing none, roll call.
Miller.
Yes.
Taylor Burks.
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Woodward.
Yes.
Carter.
Yes. Okay, which brings us to amendments to the agenda. I believe that item number 6 needs to be moved for 1 week due to technical difficulties. And then there's been a request to move all the other stuff, so that's good. So I think that, and I would ask that item number 5 be moved above items number 3 and 4.
Move.
Support. All right, so need a roll call on the amendments. Any discussion?
Miller.
Okay, roll call.
Taylor Burks.
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Woodward.
Yes.
Carter.
Yes.
Miller.
Yes.
And I would also ask, before we approve the agenda, for a point of privilege to let Pastor Gowdy speak from Macedonia Church on his 100th year.
Support.
All right, it's been moved and supported to amend the agenda to allow him to speak as item number 6. Roll call.
Taylor Burks.
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Woodward.
Yes.
Carter.
Yes.
Miller.
Yes.
All right. Now, that passes, so now I need a motion to approve the agenda as amended.
Move.
Support.
It's been moved by Woodward, supported by Councilwoman Doris Taylor Burks. Any discussion? Seeing none, roll call.
Williams.
Yes.
Woodward.
Yes.
Carter.
Yes.
Miller.
Yes.
Taylor Burks.
Yes.
Agenda approved. Is, okay, we need approval of the meeting minutes from August 13th.
Move.
It's been moved by Councilwoman Miller, supported by Councilwoman Doris Taylor Burks. Any discussion? Seeing none, roll call.
Williams.
Yes.
Woodward.
I have to abstain because I wasn't here.
Carter.
Yes.
Miller.
Yes.
Taylor Burks.
All right. Minutes approved from August 13th, 2019, which brings us to item number 2, which is subcommittee report finance, and the chair is not here, so I would just ask that it just be read into the minutes. And then we have recognition of elected officials. Is there any elected officials in the audience? Okay, going once, going twice. So, which brings us to item number 5, which is the Pontiac Youth Recreation Enrichment Center, PIREC update and Youth Summit report. Presenters Robert Birch and Jeremiah Wilson.
Robert Birch, who is the assistant manager at the youth center, is coming forward. We also have, as you see, a lot of youth here who are part of the basketball program, and the champions are here to be recognized by this body. So Robert is going to do a shortened summary of the PIREC report so that we can have all of the youth who are here to be honored and recognized for being champions in their leagues to come forward so we can salute them as a community. All right?
Good evening, council, members of the chamber, citizens of Pontiac. Just want to give a brief report on the summer program for Pontiac's Youth Recreation and Enrichment Center. I had a PowerPoint prepared, but can't get to it, so I'm just going to go ahead and go. For the summer program, we had a total number of active participants of about 1,172 youths. That's including our basketball program, which is pretty big. The total number of new registrants we were able to get this summer was about 609. Also, the average daily attendance during the summer program was about 189 youth per day that came through the center. Also, I'd like to give a brief report on the Murphy Park program. That's a day camp program over at Murphy Park, and there were about 70 total youth registered there, and their average daily attendance was about 65 students or youth per day. Some of the activities that they participated in were sports and outdoor games, arts and crafts, nature walks, recess games, and they also were able to attend around 3 field trips, one to Groveland Oaks Park, Belle Isle Metro Youth Day, and also Turtle Grove Water Park. At the PIREC, the Pontiac Youth Enrichment and Recreation Center, some of the weekly activities that we provided for the kids were arts and crafts, computers, gym games and sports. We had a games room that they participated in, dance, music, outdoor games and activities, and also our very successful summer basketball league. We also provided some camps as well. We had a jewelry makers camp, a variety of basketball camps, a dessert camp, and a sports sampler camp. We also were able to establish a few partnerships that helped us supplement some of our programming, and that was the YMCA. They came twice a week on Mondays and Wednesdays for a couple of hours, and they took a large group of kids outside, and they want to continue that partnership this fall. Cranbrook conducted a STEM camp for us this summer. That was a week, and that was the beginning of the camp, and at the conclusion of that, the students were able to go over to the Cranbrook Institute of the Cranbrook Institute of Science Museum and participate in some activities there. We also were able to get PAL to come out and run a week-long soccer clinic for us. Also, the Girl Scouts of Michigan, they came throughout the summer. They did around 3 sessions of mentoring and engineering for our young ladies. Going on this week is the Strand Theater Music and Theater and Music Camp. Those kids from the center were able to obtain a discounted camp registration so they can attend that. Also, Charity Music they had a week-long music camp, which included drumming and little recorders the kids play. And also, every Thursday they did what is called a sound booth, where the kids could come in their room and test out different instruments. Meet Up and Eat Up provided healthy meals for our kids every day in the summer. And so that's the report. I'd just like to thank Deputy Mayor for assisting me in directing the camp and the programs this summer, and also the staff. We couldn't have done it without you guys. Thank you.
Good evening, I'm Troy Kraft, I'm sports coordinator
for City of Pontiac, and I'm here to announce we had one good successful youth summer basketball league, and we're here to honor these kids out here. They played their hearts out and everything, and I'm here and I'm going to turn it over to the mayor.
All right, as you see, the young people have received their medals and taken their team photos, and they're here. We're going to call their names so they can get individual recognition, thank their coaches for being mentors and to providing good outlets for our youth to participate in our summer programs. And I'm going to give the coach these certificates on behalf of the City of Pontiac, both mayor and the city council, who have provided this opportunity for our children to have a youth recreation center again in the city of Pontiac. And so with that, I will call your names. For this team, this is the 3rd and 4th grade champions, known as the Cobras. Let's hear about the Cobras. Okay. All right. If you hear your name, just raise your hand so the audience can see you and congratulate you. Christian Bourgeois, Caden Covington, Cordelia Bibras, Arcio Paramo, Julian Harden, Larry Gibbs, Tyree Lacey, and most importantly to our coaches, Craig Covington and John Cantrell. Thank you, Cobras. The next group is here. All right, thank you all, Cobras. Very good. We like what's going on at the Youth Recreation Center because our kids are not only coming for recreation and socialization, but also we're happy for the ones who are championship in sports, but we're also teaching them to be champions in life, to carry these mentoring, good habits, good principles with them throughout their careers. So the next group we have here, Troy, and I need the certificates. Thank you. Okay. Do I have them? Okay. All right, the next group are our 5th and 6th grade champions, and this team is called the Yakdown Gunners here. All right. All right. So as I call your name, raise your hand. You look good in your medals, guys. Okay. All right. Justin Sykes, Kylo Dickerson, Duran Mason, Sasha McClellan, Jordan Bush, Isaac Gordon, Anthony Burton Jr., Anthony Knight Jr., Nasir Thomas, and Demarion Bozeman, and a new one, DeQuarius White. All right. And thank you, coaches, for all the time. You know, our coaches put in a lot of volunteer time with our kids because they believe in our kids. They believe in helping our kids mature. It takes a village to raise a child, as they say, but in Pontiac, we have a lot of special people who are giving time of themselves to help our children. So the coaches for the Yaktown Gunners are Brent Sykes, Anthony Burton Sr., and Brian McClellan. Thank you, guys. All right. Here are the certificates in the group. I'll hand it to the coaches here. All right. Thank you. And you can follow your sports coordinator. All right.
She's at.
Very good. Very good. I know there's a lot of picture taking going on in the hallway for all the parents who are going out and are proud of their kids. Thank you to parents, all right, for all you do. Our next group can come in and I'll take this. Okay, our next group who is coming in, you will see them as, gotta give a little time for all the applauders and supporters of the Yaktown Gunners to go out. All right, good. All ages and sizes come to the Youth Rec Center here. All right, our next group can come in. And this group has the name of the underdogs, but they played well enough that they were champions. So come on in, underdogs. All right. All right. The underdogs are the 7th to 9th grade champions. And as they come in, come stand right next to me, okay? All right. All right, come right in. As I call your name, please raise your hand so the audience can see you and congratulate you. The roster for the underdogs is Isaiah Lee, Devarian Hall, Jamarian Hardiman, Isaiah Almodovar, Caleb Webb, Kidavian Walker, Davian Whaley, Omarion Timians, and Diovian London. And their coach is Antoine Kiles. All right, here's for the underdogs. Congratulations. All right, Coach. So, Coach, let me take these. Okay. All right. Very good.
How many more teams y'all got?
All right. So the last division is coming in as we speak right now, also presented with their medals. Come on in, guys, and join us. All right. How's it feel to be champions?
Take care of them.
All right. She says, great. Very good. We're proud of you and proud of what you have achieved at the Youth Rec Center. So this group is called Prime Time. Did you have something you want to say?
What I want to say right here briefly is that
Come on, Mike.
you don't want to get choked up. I had these guys since they was little boys. Now this is their last year in our summer program. They're going to college.
That's what we like to hear, and Troy had put his heart in the program. I brought him in as sports coordinator because I know how he works with kids and works with basketball. He loves it to his heart, and he was doing it for years without compensation, without any reward, just because he loved kids and because he put his heart into it. And so we have Troy. Yeah, so thanks for that. So we're here for the 10th to 12th grade champions, and as I call your name, if you'd like to raise your hand so we can see you. DQ Cole, Day Cole are two, and congratulations as you move forward into college, all right? Kenyatta Green. All right. Sonny Wilson. Elise Jackson. Juan Claudio III. Tara Hazard Jr. All right. Clay Washington. Okay. Did we get everybody? Did we miss anybody? Got everybody on the roster? And the coaches, Gabe Lindsay, Gordy Lindsay, and Juan Claudio Jr. Thank you, coaches. All right. And with that, we thank this community for bringing back the millage, for bringing back the Youth Recreation Center, and for allowing this opportunity to bring along our kids in Pontiac. We should be proud of ourselves. Thank you, Pontiac. All right. All right, that was great. And thank you, Alexandria, for making all these certificates.
Okay.
Most of them are churches. We'll find out. Those buildings, those programs are churches.
Are we giving out awards?
Don't know.
Yeah,
Macedonia.
Macedonia, that's why.
Macedonia.
They had all signed up to speak individually. I said it'd be quicker with a presentation. So, good, we're letting everybody clear out. Let's give it up again one more time for our youth. And all of the people that work at the Pyrex Center. We had an incident last week that I found out about in the Oakland Press. And so tonight is the next council meeting since then. And so before Patrick comes up to talk about code enforcement, matter of fact, I want to have Macedonia next, and then I'll bring up the code enforcement so they can get out of here. Madam Mayor, I'm officially requesting that we have a metal detector installed either temporarily or permanently at the Youth Recreation Center. So that can be done. So I know you've probably got calls about it, but I just wanted to, this is the first action of the body, so I wanted to start that process so we can talk about how to make sure that that gets done.
Good thoughts, and if you want to do these presentations, I can just give you some, bring you up to date on what has been done to date on that.
No, I just my thought was, I read the article.
Right.
It wasn't presented to us as a council. There was no communication, so I waited to come into City Hall to see if there was some. There was none. And so all I'm requesting as a council person is that we provide a metal detector
Yes.
in the building.
There are a
So-
number of things that we work with the
Listen,
sheriff's
I-
deputies
hold on.
department to do that, and that's one of them. That's one of them, but there are other things as well.
That's the one I want
Yes.
to focus on today.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
And we did communicate with you because we did send a letter out to all the parents, and Deputy Mayor did take care of that. We copied the council as well, so you had that in front of you, so we could completely explain and the processes that we were taking, because
Sharp, did
safety
we
and
receive that?
security is most important.
Thank you. Attorney Sharp, Attorney Sharp?
I apologize. No, I never received anything. If I would have received something, I would have forwarded it to the
It
council.
was sent to the council.
No, I never received anything.
I sent it to the council.
Well, maybe it was addressed to someone else other than myself.
So,
Yes.
so we'll be looking for a copy of that communication. Pastor Gowdy, good to see you. Happy to see everybody from Macedonia Church, and thank you guys for all you do for the community. I'm gonna give you 10 minutes to go through your presentation.
Good evening to the council, our mayor, the President Williams. Thank you for this opportunity. I won't be up here 10 minutes. Somebody behind me is coming. But we just wanted to come, and we brought some Macedonians with us. Want them to stand, and Macedonia is a great church in our community, and we will be celebrating 100 years next April. Amen. And so we wanted to come and invite the community to come and to join and share with us that we all can celebrate the goodness of God. We love our city, we love our church, we love people. And everything we try to do at Macedonia is to do it God's way. And to do all we can to help people. So Sister Anderson is going to come at this time, and she'll give you more information. Again, we thank you.
Good evening, Chamber, Council, and residents of Pontiac. Just so happy for this opportunity. Thank you for expediting this on the agenda. We truly appreciate that. We really wanted to just share with you some of the great things that have been done over the 100 years with Macedonia. And we won't go over the entire 100 years. We'll kind of just summarize it for you. We really do some great things. And if I could share just with you here, Macedonia Missionary Baptist Church is blessed to offer the community feedings for Easter, Thanksgiving, and Christmas. We feed over 300 people in each one of those events every year. In addition, we provide an annual health fair that is full with screenings, health education. We have a full panel, which is growing every year, of health professionals, health providers, and people in the community. We really do try to focus our health fair on the upcoming issues, those target issues that the community is dealing with every day. We have a clothes closet that we sponsor on the first and third Tuesday of each month to help clothe the community, and this is free. We have a very robust youth ministry, and I'm going to let Paulette come up and just talk a little bit about our youth ministry and some of the things that we've been able to expose our youth to this year. And with that, I'll let you come up and I'll finish up.
Good afternoon. As she said, we have been working very hard with our youth ministry, and I just want to thank all of my youth ministry team. But one of the things that we implicated this year was our summer enrichment program, which we had on Saturdays to help tutor our kids with reading and math. We found that it is a great need in our community for our kids to be tutored. So it was a free program. We offered it on Saturdays. We fed them a light breakfast and lunch, all free. So we did have that going on this year. We also have, we partnered with Forgotten Harvest, who also help feed our kids. We have a Wednesday night program for our youth at 6 o'clock every Wednesday. And we pick up kids all around the community of Pontiac, and they come out and we feed them, we teach them Bible lessons, and we play games and crafts. So that is part of our youth ministry. This year also, we were able to take our kids to the Ark Encounter in Kentucky. So that was one of the events that we did have this year. They really, really enjoyed it. And last year, we were able to take them to Washington, D.C. So we have a great community outreach for our youth, and we just welcome any youth in the city of Pontiac to come on out. Thank you.
So why, you ask, are we presenting to you here today? 100 years is truly monumental. Our pastor has been preaching at Macedonia for 13 years, and we're so very proud to have him as the head and the shepherd of our church. Yeah, yep, that deserves. With 100 years, we would like to change the name of Pearsall Street to Macedonia Avenue in celebration of our 100th, our centennial anniversary, which is April 2020. So we hope that you give this thoughtful consideration. We thank you for your time today, and we welcome you to join us in our celebration next year, and we'll get information out to the council on when that will be. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And we will pass out some save the date cards. Thank you.
Is that it, Pastor Gotti? Yes, sir. All right.
Confuse people. I like you open the card on that one.
See, every one of the street signs, I got a record of, was named after the people.
Okay, we're gonna give Macedonia some time to clear on out of here, and then the next will be enhanced code enforcement and nuisance abatement report.
Mr. President?
Yeah.
May I have a point of privilege real quickly before he speaks?
Yeah, go ahead.
Huh?
Go ahead.
Okay. All right. You know, I just wanted to say.
Wait till they clear out.
Oh,
Clear out.
okay.
Boy, the room got cleared out just like that. Wow, okay.
Must be on text message.
Pardon?
Yes.
All right, go ahead.
All right, thank you, Mr. President. You know, we brought this enhanced code enforcement up today in community development. And one thing I wanted to stress is we really want to get this blight court going. We've been working on it for 6 years. The money's appropriate, everything. We heard there was a gentleman from the law school there at Oakland University that fit all the qualifications. I'd like some answers as to why he didn't go ahead and get that job, and what the direction is that the administration wants to take, that he wasn't suited for that job. All right, thank you, Mr. President.
Okay. Pardon? I'd be happy to address that.
I just made that statement.
Thank you. All right. Good evening, Council President, Council members, Madam Mayor, Deputy Mayor. My name is Patrick Brzezowski, and I'm the Code Enforcement Manager. Before I get started, I wanted to first start out by thanking you for the opportunity to be here tonight to present upon the progress that we've made since coming on board with the city in October. It's important to us to share with you guys what we've done. And with that said, I'll start out by talking about our code enforcement activity.
So since last October, we have completed over 15,000 inspections, filed over 4,500 code enforcement violations, of which 51% have been resolved, 31% are in the pre-ticket stage, and 18% are under review pending further judgment. We have issued over 1,700 tickets and processed over 618 new and renewal business licenses, totaling approximately $70,000 in revenue. And so, what is Enhanced Code Enforcement Program? The program was designed to identify properties that are in need of additional support, to identify these properties and develop a process to where support could be provided and compliance obtained. We have since conducted over 130 special inspections and issued over 95 tickets. Next, I'd like to discuss, I'd like to take the time to discuss two properties in which we've spent a great deal amount of time over the past year in this program. And the first is North Hill Farms. I've provided a timeline, and starting back in October, we identified approximately 299 units that were out of the rental compliance code, and began working with staff and management to get those units into compliance. During which time they experienced boiler system failure, to which we were able to work diligently and get that heat restored within just a couple days. In April, they took on new management and have since really worked with the city, with our staff and building department to have over 85% of their units inspected and complied. And within the next couple of weeks, we are hopeful to have the remaining batch finalized. And then finally, in late June, it was reported that the facility had a change in their pet policy. Now, as I understand it currently, it's not necessarily a change in their policy, rather, with the new management staff, they have took the direction of enforcing their previous policy of no pets. And so with that said, we wanted to work with the local animal agencies and residents to share with them the resources that are out there and available. This list I have printed out front on the table to share, and basically we are working to share this and in the hopes that we can utilize these services. The next facility that we spent a great deal of time was at 1131 University Drive, known as University Place Apartments. I know that timeline's a little condensed there, but basically what that illustrates is we had to spend a lot more time and effort at this property. But as of today, we're happy to report that the property has completely new ownership and management, and they have worked to address the various issues such as the sanitation and rental inspections. They have done their due diligence to provide their escrow amounts and outstanding fees to the city, and really done an exceptional job coming in. All right, and finally, just to mention, since last October, we have successfully petitioned over 8 properties totaling $16,000 in abatement costs, spanning a variety of different activities such as boarding, sanitation, and emergency electrical service to the various properties shown in the map. And during this calendar year of 2019, we have referred over 200 properties to our on-call grass mowing contractor, which spans over 110 acres of land. And I broke that down into residential and commercial percentage, but basically 82% of those properties were residential, with the remaining commercial properties being at 18%. And with that said, I am happy to take questions.
I have one, President.
Councilwoman Miller?
Good evening, Patrick.
Good evening.
I'd like to give kudos to when it's needed, and I have to say, Patrick, you do great work for me in my district. I appreciate you. Thank you so much.
Welcome.
First, I want to say that. Which brings me to University Place Apartment. I did go over and visit the management last week. Actually, not the people that owned the building, but there was a young lady there that was working in the office, and I stopped by. Because I had a number of residents to call me out of there and saying that they had put a 7-day notice on all of their apartments, and they had to move.
Yeah.
In order to, I don't know if you were aware of that.
I'm aware of basically what they have indicated to me is that the previous owners, with some of the units, they didn't have leases.
Correct.
And as they have run other complexes, they look to employ leases throughout all of their units and complexes. So part of a standard process of getting those people basically signed up with their program.
Well, in fairness, I have yet to meet with the new owner, but we discussed a couple of things while I was in her office, and she did mention, I mentioned some people's names, which I will not do publicly, and she said that they were taking care of them, and some of the issues were being worked out. I'm prayerful and hopeful that, most of the people been there, they've been through a lot, as you well know. They've been through hell and back. No heat, water, all kind of issues. So I explained to her that I hope that he or she, I don't know if it's a man or a lady that owned the property, would give them opportunity to catch up, because a lot of them don't need to pay for anything because they took care of themselves because they had no owner, as you well know. So I expressed it to her, and she did mention that there were, I believe, only 2 that was in question, and she should be working. Got a problem? No, I just, you at University Place as well? No. Okay. I thought maybe he was at University, had a question, because I was told that they're working with them and trying to get everything stable, because that's why I want to meet with management, to give them at least opportunity to get themselves right over there, because they've been through a lot, and they had to take care of themselves over there. I never seen this guy that we had prior, he put the S in slum. I mean, he was terrible.
Right.
I never seen anything like it for an individual had to live the way they have lived, and my heart go out to him. So I just want to express this to all of them out there that didn't know I had met with management. I'm going to call the owner, and I'm going to still meet with him and make sure that everyone is taken care of over there. But I will agree, passing there, they look like they cleaned it up. They look like it looked like apartment. That used to be such a great place. I'm so hoping and prayerful that they can bring it back to where it used to be and where they deserve it to be. And that's all I want, Mr. President.
All right, thank you. Councilman Woodward.
Yeah, I just have a quick question. 7 days is all they're given?
They were all, I was told that they put 7-day notices on every one apartment, which was not fair because from the old prior management, because they were paying for things that they wasn't, no one was accountable.
It seems 7 days
But-
seems like a very short time.
Well, I did get an opinion from the attorney here from the city, and said he believed, Mr. Chubb said he didn't believe it was legal anyways, but when I went over and spoke with management, they did say they're gonna give them a chance, an opportunity. It seems like it's gonna be, I'm praying, it seems like they're gonna do what they're supposed to do. And I'm hoping, but if they won't, that's why I wanna meet with management, let them know that I'm watching, making sure they do, because they've been through so much, University Place.
Well, we're going to follow closely.
Yeah, I know you will. Thank you, Patrick, I appreciate you.
Oh, okay, Patrick, if you can go back to slide number 1, 4,517 enforcements filed, and then you guys say 18 under review. I stepped out for a minute. Did you explain how they stay under review or how they are tracked, and what tracking system is implemented for the citizens?
Well,
go ahead.
Okay, certainly. It's 18% of the 4,500 are under review pending further judgment, meaning they have gone through the court process, and at this point, there still is an outstanding resolution that's necessary. We use our BSNA software tracking system and digital record management system to keep track of our city records, and so until each enforcement, each specific one is resolved, we have an open, ongoing inspection scheduled for the inspector. That's how we track them.
Well, this is the thing. When you call the water department or other services, you get a tracking number.
Yes.
That goes with it. When people complain here, do they get a tracking number, or how does that work?
Every enforcement that's generated does have a unique tracking number.
I'm saying, do the citizens get it? So they call the phone.
They're
and
welcome.
say,
Yeah, they're welcome to get that.
okay, so for now, because I want to make sure everybody's hearing this, because several times I end up complaining on the same property that the citizens already complained on.
Right.
And so they call me after they don't have the tracking number or whatever. So you're telling me now that you guys have a system in place where if they call tomorrow, they can get a tracking number for their particular complaint that they can then go back to later on.
Absolutely, yes.
Okay, and what is that general number that they need to be calling?
Well, they would call 248-758-2820, and that would be the direct code enforcement line, and we are happy to share with them that information.
Okay, the second thing, because I've been getting a lot of heat about grass in my district. Can you explain how that process works for tall grass abatement?
Yes. So the process starts out in early March when we post the notice, the legal notice, and the idea is that at the beginning of the calendar year, when tall grass, when grass reaches beyond 8 inches, we file our enforcement and we send notice, and we give those properties 10 days notice. And if they do not comply within the 10 days, then we send our contractor out. Now, after that, anytime after the first occurrence has been issued, we are able to execute and have the properties cut without sending notice. In fact, the way that it's read and written, we wouldn't have to even send any notice, but as a policy, we try to do the 10 days initially throughout the calendar year. And for extreme properties where the grass is beyond, 3 feet and posing as a health and safety risk, we oftentimes would have to go in and have our contractor abate that. So the process would be to identify it and to send notice and follow up, and if it's not cut, then we would send our contractor out.
Now, currently, you guys need additional staff. I see your hand, Councilman Woodward. Currently, you guys would need additional staff to be more proactive, to go out to look for these nuisances, right? Right now, it's a complaint-based system, so if there's no complaint, there's really no ticket issued, or how does that work? Because I don't know if you guys have a staff.
It's both. Our staff is right now chasing a lot of inspections every day throughout the city. We're reaching to get 20 to 30 inspections done a day, which is a high volume, especially when you add the other factors, the other cases that we're trying to get done. But with that said, we do try to be as proactive as we can and non-selective as we can. As we go out and we see an issue, we try to stop and report that ourselves. So the complaint can come externally from the residents, from anybody around, or oftentimes it can come from ourselves as we see it.
Right, but because you guys are mostly focused on inspections, it's important that if residents see something, that they call, so that can be
Absolutely, that
looked
helps
at.
us a ton, yes.
Okay, Councilman Woodward.
Thank you, Mr. President. Just refresh me on this. Now, say you go and have to cut it. Now, does that go on their property tax, or how is that?
Yeah.
How is the city compensated for that?
Well, we have to spend the money up front to have the contractor cut it, but then, yes, there is an assessment on the property.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mr.
I got a question.
Okay, Councilwoman Miller.
Oh, Patrick, my pet peeve, grass.
Yeah.
Which brings me to question, because I ride around my district and I get the numbers of the property owners, which is the realtors, I've been calling them and making them come mow their grass. I feel if you want to sell the property, take care of the property, why would I buy it?
Right.
So, which brings me, and I know you guys understaffed, but these properties are privately owned. I mean, can't you make them, I mean, is it like a notice you can send out? A lot of this is private property and they just won't take care of their property.
Well, absolutely. I mean, ultimately, we can't force anybody to do anything, but we do send notice, and we start, again, early in the year by publishing the legal notice.
How much do you fine them?
How much are they fined?
Mm-hmm.
Well, it starts out at $100 for the first code enforcement ticket,
Okay.
and then it goes from 100, 300 to 500. And it could be 500 each day after that. So it
okay,
depends
good.
on the duration of
Wow.
the violations.
Well, I
and the
should have
intensity.
several 500 in my district. They should be up to thousands by now.
Yeah.
Right there on where they're working at and I know this is a John Ballard question, so I won't ask you about the construction at university because it seems like there's just one spot won't move. I need up in Kenilworth and Emerson and right away, who responsibility is that? That's an eyesore for me.
Well, DPW manages the right-of-way in the city.
They need to
And
get over there.
we regulate private
Yeah,
property.
bad.
We work together often, though,
Yeah.
to try and get these issues
If you could just
resolved.
put that on your agenda for me, I mean, to go up down
Absolutely.
Universe, it's a main thoroughway too, and I was looking at the construction, but it needs to be done. It's terrible. They shouldn't have to live with all that grass going up down that side. Actually, it's a sidewalk there, and you can't even see the sidewalk anymore because it's all covered up. So.
Okay.
Okay, Mr.
I
President.
got two.
All right, Pro Tem
All
Carter.
right, just two. One is, I guess I'm a little upset about it. Oakland County's property,
Yeah.
Hollywood and Hopkins hasn't been cut. It's 5 feet tall.
Well, what I can say is typically they're really good at responding if they know about it. Right.
I shouldn't have to. I'm just
No.
wondering.
Right.
Okay, I complained about it prior, and it hasn't happened.
And that's at Hollywood and,
It's Hollywood and Hopkins,
Okay.
yes. It's around 80. The next thing would be, do you guys go after CN Railroad?
we go after any property that has tall grass, honestly.
I understand. Well, Columbia and Walton are two big hazards. They haven't been cut.
Really? Well, okay, I'll have to look at that. I know that we spoke about that issue.
Yes, we have.
And I did direct our contractor to go out and cut right there in the right-of-way. But yeah, to answer your question, we do go after them.
And one last thing, we haven't hit on it. Does the city, while you do an inspection, do you do how many people are inside an apartment building?
Can you clarify?
Okay, well, all these 1 and 2 bedroom apartments, and you got a parking lot full of cars, and it's obvious you got more cars than you have residents. Kind of like what's that place on Paddock? The Manor.
West Manor.
Okay, Manor was an interesting one. You had 44 apartments, and all of a sudden it's like when the Red Cross came, they had 450 different residents
Okay.
in 44 houses. So
I see what you mean. Well, when it
I'm
is.
just curious.
Yeah, well, we work with our building department, and they're the ones that go in and do the rental inspections. And so we work together. If we notice that there's a large amount of cars and we hear stuff from the neighbors, we report that to them and vice versa.
Okay.
That's what I can say.
Thank you. I'm satisfied. Thank you.
Okay, before I let Petra go, I see Ms. Tammy in the audience, and she does a great job of contacting businesses.
Thank you, Tammy.
But our corridors look horrible in general. I'm thinking right across from In and Out on University, right there. I don't know what that is. It's a field mixed with grass, mixed with whatever.
You're talking about the corner property there?
They say it might have tanks underneath it or whatever,
Yeah.
but it hasn't been maintained or mowed. And we're putting a $3 million new street right next to it. That doesn't make any sense whatsoever. And so the right-of-way is in disrepair, but the actual property is there. And when a resident complained on it, they told them it was gas tanks and some other things, and that's why they haven't dealt with it. So that's just one to give you an example. I guess my major concern is there any money budgeted to go and clean our thoroughfares or to deal with the businesses in order to get them to comply? When you come into the city limits of Pontiac, you notice the difference immediately, no matter where you go. And so I'm just wondering if we have money to do those things. I get numerous complaints about the Family Dollar across from Spring Lake, about the cleanliness and other things that might not necessarily be what you guys do as code enforcement. I'm just trying to figure out with enhanced code enforcement, is there money that needs to be reallocated or rebudgeted in order to deal with those business entities? I think you guys have a good system of dealing with residential customers if you think that they're out of compliance. But when it comes to the business community, they've been able to be lax for several years, not just when you guys came in last year, but just in general. And I don't know if that process has been fixed. And I don't know if a letter has been sent to all of the business owners with the expectation, because pretty soon it's sunshiny right now, but it will be snowing soon.
Right.
And we don't have anything about shoveling the snow already in place or whatever. So I'm just wondering, is there a designated person, or do we need to give the executive more money to get you a designated person that deals with business compliance, not as far as business inspections, but just to make sure that they're up to code in general? If they need to be inspected, they got a leaky roof or something, Tammy's right on it. But if they need to shovel their snow, I don't think we have anybody at this point.
Well, what I can say is, beginning last year, we started to, look into the system, and we were able to create automated letters and send several batches throughout the community for ice and snow removal. That was done last year, that initiative, and we plan to do that again. Absolutely. So, but in terms of, do we need more staff? Could we use more? Absolutely as well. And in terms of money and budgeting, that would be a better question for, I think, our finance director. I know that there is some money set aside for abatements, as I've presented earlier, some of the ones that we've done throughout the past year. And so, gaining a better understanding of what is available and what could be potentially used in the commercial properties is something we could look at.
Okay, thank you. Any other question for?
No, I'm good.
All right, Attorney Sharp? Okay, all right, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, our next presentation is from the mayor in regards to the City of Pontiac Retired Employees Association CPRA settlement update. Madam Mayor.
Yes, Council President, Council, and audience here. I came to give you an update on what's happening with the retiree health litigation settlement, which the city successfully settled through mediation and signed. And people want to know where that process is. One of the people who was asked for an update recently was Councilwoman Patrice Waterman, who's not here today, but we'll make sure she has all this information. But as you recall in the audience, the settlement or the litigation of the retirees through the organization called CPRA did sue the emergency manager for return of their retiree health care. And with that settlement agreement that we finally solved, there were a number of steps that had to be taken in order to get it through the courts and then get the documentation ready. So the final step is it has to be approved by the IRS. And the reason it has to go to the IRS is because this solution was a very novel solution. It had not been done by any city or municipality before. And because of its novelty, it had to go to the IRS because we had to make sure that it was a approved extent that it would be benefits that were not taxable to the retirees. This solution had been done for some corporations, but it was new in terms of the municipalities who had done it. So Pontiac, I understand, is in the history books for that. So now we have gone and taken it through the courts. The courts have approved the process, have approved the settlement agreement, which is on the board there, if you want to flip tomorrow.
Can't see that stuff.
Okay. And now that we have taken those steps, the next step was to hire counsel, pension counsel. This is a very, very tedious and complex process to take this kind of proposal to the IRS. And I just want to show you the Miller Canfield, the attorney who is working from their pension department to help us with that process of taking to the IRS. This is one of the communications sent about the tremendous amount of research and documentation that had to be looked at from the origin and the onset of the pension agreement to time present. Everything had to be revisited because you don't send it to the IRS without having all of your I's dotted and T's crossed. So there's actually 2 pages. This was just the first of several memorandums that were sent to us. Go to the next page. All these documents, every one of those are documents that had to be researched, and we had to supply to the attorney so that she could do the research and the investigation to make sure that everything was corresponding to the all the ordinances that had been passed, all the IRS regulations, and so she has done that. And we have just a couple more steps before we can get to the IRS. Of course, this has taken her immense amount of work and time. She's been working on this now for a number of months. Now, there were 2 steps that needed to be completed, and one was just recently completed. One of the things was that the court was asking for each side, the city as well as the Cypria, the attorney representing Cypria, to respond to some questions and to make sure we were in agreement with the final version of the Viva Trust Agreement that had been approved by the court. And that was a little bit of a holdup because this is the letter that our attorney, Mr. John Clark, as you see, wrote on July 24th, 2019, indicating he had just that week gotten from the Cypria attorney his response to all those questions, although he had requested that way back in the beginning of April. So we were waiting for close to 3 months, but now have that one step. Now, the last remaining step is that the bond, I'm sorry, I keep saying bond, we got 2 different issues. The pension attorney from Miller Canfield has also requested a supplemental actuarial evaluation. And so that's something that is requested for the GERS board. And the GERS board, we're waiting for them to approve that so we can get on with that process. So that's the last step needed before a consultant from the pension attorney can then conclude, put all the multiple documents together, get the filing ready for the IRS, and then it will come to you, counsel, so that you can approve it moving on to that next step and the last step. Now, when it gets to the IRS, I'm assured that this is something that we can't predict how much time this will take. One of the things that the pension attorney who has told us, who's handled a number of these cases, is that the IRS, as some of you know, some of you are waiting for your refunds sometime that don't come right away, that the IRS takes the time it will take. And it is not something that we can adjust the time. We just want to get it to them as quickly as possible so that we can get it to the court so that we can finally get the retirees' return of health care that we have negotiated for them. So I just wanted to give you an update on where we are. As soon as we can get this supplemental actuarial evaluation, the GERS board approves it so we can get it from the actuaries, then we can move ahead, close the books in terms of what the pension attorney has requested, and then the council is ready to take it on to the IRS. And once the IRS comes back, and we don't know whether that's going to be 6 months or 2 years, we'll have to wait and see. But we wanted to let the retirees know that the $400 that you're receiving as an enhanced pension benefit will be continued. It's going to come to council for your approval so that it can be issued by the various retirement boards. So that I pledged to the retirees that while this was being settled to its conclusion, that I would ask council every year to renew that $400 enhanced pension benefit that so many people need and to balance their budgets in order to pay for their health care. It doesn't pay for all of the health care insurance for most people. And so that's why we want to move this along, because some people the budgets are severely strained by the fact that the cost of health care is high. And that's why we've worked diligently to get all these documentations, all the I's dotted, all the germane points that we need to do so that we can be successful when we go to the IRS. And once we do that, we will have concluded a very long, difficult chapter of Pontiac's history when the retirees' health care was taken away by the emergency manager, and we will be able to undo that by restoring that health care, and that's what we're intent on doing. And we will let you know the next steps, council.
All right, Pro Tem Carter.
All right. Hello, Mayor. I had just two questions.
Sure.
Been following here for a long time. One is, I haven't found anything that deals with URSA. I know it's a federal, it doesn't deal with local government. And also within this plan, I noticed that the cafeteria plan is also involved. That hasn't been ever involved since 2009 or prior. So I don't know where it got interjected at, but I hope to find some additional documentation to follow along with this process.
Your question is, has the pension attorney revealed all?
The cafeteria
disclosed all
plan
that?
was never
Okay.
introduced into this policy, and neither was URSA.
Okay. So I don't know the IRS rules. I'm not a pension attorney. But I assure you, we have paid enough money for somebody who is assured of that. And as you see, all those documents that we have been reviewed, and I cannot, as I said, I'm not a pension attorney,
just
so I
brought it
can't
forth.
refer to
I'll
that.
bring it up again at a later date. Just-
We want to make sure that everything is done that needs to be done to make the IRS filing.
Correct.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, anybody else have a question? My question is real simple. I didn't hear a timeline for our submission to the IRS. I heard that once the IRS gets it, their time is their time, but I haven't heard when we're going to file the documents documents will be brought to City Council, so we can sign the resolution to then send them to the IRS. And the reason I bring that up is because there's a press release almost a year old now that says that we've got through this monumental hurdle and we're just waiting on the IRS approval and all that other stuff. So what is the time?
So your question is when the city will file through the pension attorneys that are representing us to the IRS? That's your question? Okay. So, and I did cover that as I was talking, and I said there were two things that the pension attorney had been waiting for. They were waiting for, number one, the response from the CIPRI attorney, which came, as I showed you, that letter from July 24th. That's when we got that. The other thing we're waiting for is the GERS board to go ahead and approve getting that supplemental actuarial evaluation. We have taken that to the GERS board. They want some additional information, and I will give them whatever they need so that they can get that done, because they have to order that through their actuary. And
So
once
you're-
we get that, then that's the last document so far, unless the pension attorney finds something else that actuarial supplemental evaluation indicates. And then when that is done, then she tells me that they're ready to move forward with getting all the documentation ready, getting the whole filing and all the briefs, so that they can bring it to council, and so then you can give the approval for it to go to the IRS. So that's what we are waiting for.
I do have one question, Mr.
Councilwoman.
President, I just thought about. I did attend one of the GERS meeting, I believe it was a couple months ago, Mayor, and at that time, they voted, so it has been submitted to the GERS board, because they sent the information back because the information that you had sent through your attorneys wasn't correct. So GERS have had this, from my understanding, they're waiting on you.
No. They have the information, but they have not yet approved getting the actual affirmation. I did send the finance director to the last meeting. He was able to make the presentation. They didn't want to hear from him. So I will go again and make the presentation.
Let me just
Okay?
finish what I said, because that was the meeting. It's ironic that you mentioned the finance director. That was the day they
Yeah.
voted that the finance director could not come in their meetings.
Okay.
So that's one entity, I thank God, that doesn't recognize Mr. Newsom, so he wasn't able to discuss anything with him, so I
All
don't
right.
know who you're referring to.
Okay. Well, that's the last, yes, the question was, when will we do the filing? We'll do it when we get this last actuarial evaluation that we need.
Okay, thank you, Madam Mayor. I see quite a few of the GERS board people here, including the chair. And so I'm just going to ask former Mayor Moore to come up and just make sure that we're on the same page, because this has been going on for a long time. And so I'm not privy to the, I don't sit on the pension board.
Yeah.
So I just want to make sure that we get some kind of agreement, so I know that this is what we're actually waiting on, so we can just go forward.
Yeah.
So if you could let Mayor Moore talk, and then Madam Mayor, I'll let you come back up if he says anything
I
that you disagree with.
appreciate that. I just want to say out front that while we're in this limbo, we have retirees that have served this city for many years that are dying because they don't have health care. It's not my intent or purpose to negotiate it here. But what I would suggest that the council might want to do is have, because since this is in litigation, you can have a closed session and actually have both parties here. I would like to mention this in terms of the actuarial study. The only body that can set the assumptions and also to require from our actuary a study is the GERDS board. It's not, I don't want it to, because I don't know if that, they want us, they meaning the city has requested, and this is public information, so it's not anything that's out of school, because it's been on our agenda for several months now. They've requested the GERDS board to do an actuarial study that sets the bogey, so to speak, the money that we will actually make every year, at a 3.5%. There is no other pension system in this country that we are aware of that has a 3.5% assumption. And I just want to advise the mayor, and because we will be discussing this at our meeting next week, we are not in the process of experimenting. We have the fiduciary responsibility to set the assumptions, and we have set realistic assumptions, and that's what we intend to use as our assumption. And so I don't want for it to come up and then they say that the GERDS board is responsible for the settlement not happening. Because we just did an actuarial study that uses the assumptions that we've been using. And let me just say this to the council in closing on this, and I hope that you would consider having us in a closed so you can get both sides of this picture, because so many people depend on this. In terms of the actuarial assumptions, we've been in existence since 1946. I was born in 1940, so that's 73 years. If you want to use assumptions, we have 73 years of assumptions that can be used. So there's no sense in experimenting with a 3.5% that has never been there. You understand my point? And so that we don't have to go through this backward and forth, and the mayor blaming the GERDS board or the CPRA, what we can do, because ultimately the body that is required to submit this to the IRS is this body. You are the only one. It goes, the mayor's involved, but we've had so many actuarial studies that all you got to do is pull out one and determine which one you want to use. But the pension board is the only legal body and have the fiduciary responsibilities to serve those assumptions. And as far as in the field that I get is that we're not going to experiment with some fictitious numbers that nobody uses in this country.
Thank you, Mayor Moore. Madam Mayor, I guess my only question is, what do you think our best option to proceed forward is? Because this has been dragging out so long. What's the best way? What's the best way to get it done?
I've been asked to present again this to the GERS board at the meeting this month. I will be there. I will bring the same request that we have presented before from the pension attorney, and I hope this time that we can get the actuarial study done that we need. Okay? And following that, once that study is done, then we will bring that, and we'll bring the pension attorney's report and filing to the council, so the council can approve sending it to the IRS. And hopefully our retirees, the 1,400 retirees from the city of Pontiac who are due and waiting for their health care to be restored, we can move this along so they can have that done as a result of the settlement. Thank you.
We need to have a closed door.
Thank you, Madam Mayor.
We need a closed door.
Item number 7, resolution to designate Hidden River Park as an entertainment space and not as a park. Attorney Chubb, you gave us today a memorandum that talks about if the city council renames Hidden River Park, it would have no legal effect. The problem that I'm finding with your memorandum, Attorney Chubb, and maybe you can bring some clarity to this for me, is at the 13th meeting, I asked specifically for you to find the information from the city which designated Hidden River Park a park. Subsequently, there is nothing in the memorandum that speaks to a date, a resolution, an ordinance, or anything from the city council that clarifies Hidden River Park as a park. So I'm confused that your memorandum says that changing the park's designation would have no legal effect if it was never officially designated as a park. And so I'm just waiting for that information.
Yes, Council President, that is correct, and that's why I sent the council a communication on Thursday saying that the research that I informed the council was necessary was not yet completed. And what that research will be the conclusion of a title search. And a title search is where a third party pulls all of the title work for my real estate attorneys to review. That's not been completed yet, and we're also looking for all relevant historical documentation. So all that I'm asking is that this be adjourned till the next formal meeting so that I can hopefully have that information back from the title company so that we'll have an accurate understanding of the historical nature of Hidden River Park. Without that, I had to use these general principles of what a park is, which is why you received a memo that includes the jurisprudence regarding the general definition of a public park.
Oh, okay, so just for timeline purposes, as far as September 9th goes, with the medical marijuana applications, this stuff needs to be clarified first. And so I don't believe that there has ever been any official city designation of Hidden River Park as a park. I looked at the definition that you provided in the memorandum, and that doesn't describe Hidden River Park. So what I would ask Attorney Chubb, and I try to be a man of my word, we should be able to pass this resolution because the Kaboom grant doesn't have anything to do with playground equipment. It doesn't require it. We should be able to pass this resolution this week. If you find documentation that's to the contrary, then we can repeal this or whatever we need to do to go forward, but we need to still meet that timeline. If we don't do it today and we wait till next week and the mayor decides that she wants to veto the ordinance, then that puts us off time frame with the September 9th deadline.
Sure. I just think it's generally ill-advised of a council to take action when they've been informed by their city attorney that the underlying information necessary to intelligently make the vote is not before them.
Could I say something, Mr. President?
Hold on, let me just finish my chain of thought first.
I can't.
Go ahead, Councilwoman Miller.
Attorney Chubbs, the advice you have given us sometime been way over top. Please, please, please. All I wanted to state was, Mr. President, I concur with you. We vote on it tonight, and if it's a problem, then we deal with it. But I think we should vote on this tonight.
Well, Attorney Sharp.
What was just stated, I think that you should just go forward and vote on it. And to the point, if in fact Attorney Chubb presents information that is inconsistent with, in terms of his research, then it can always be set aside or basically set aside.
Okay, so is there a motion?
Support.
All right, I'm going to ask the clerk to read the resolution in its entirety, and then we'll do discussion from the council.
So you took the move from, because I heard two moves. Okay. So move from Taylor Burks
Yeah.
and second by, no. Waterman. Okay. Whereas on July 2nd, 2019, the Pontiac City Council passed a resolution to authorize the mayor to submit and execute the Kaboom Play Everywhere Challenge Grant Agreement in the amount of $56,500 for the Good Fun and Sounds Abounds Downtown Project. Whereas Hidden River Park consists of parcel numbers 64-14-29-476-018, 64-04-29-476-019, and 64-14-29-476-031. And whereas Hidden River Park has not been designated as a park, is not included in the City of Pontiac's Master Plan Recreation Facilities, city-owned parks, and is not listed on the City of Pontiac's website. And whereas the Michigan definition of public playground equipment as defined in the Playground Equipment Safety Act of 1997, apparatus including but not limited to slides, climbers, seesaws, and swings. And whereas the objective of the donation grant from Kaboom is to introduce elements of play in unconventional space and acquire play and outdoor musical equipment for Hidden River Park. And whereas eligibility of the grant donation does not require the operation of public playground or park, now therefore be it resolved that the Pontiac City Council hereby designates Hidden River Park as an entertainment space and not as a park.
All right, any discussion?
Mr. President.
I have one question.
Okay, Pro Tem Carter and then
The,
Councilman Wood.
whatever the PVC devices and the little tubes that says not to be climbed on appear to be a hazardous risk that need to be removed from that area.
Right.
Thank you.
Amen.
Okay, Councilman Wood.
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. Listen, I asked Oakland County, I asked Andy Meisner and Jill to research that, see if it ever was named a park, and it never was. They're listed as two separate lots, not a park.
Okay.
Councilman Woodward. All right. Roll call
I had my,
and the council discussion, Madam Mayor.
I
Roll call.
thought I'd get to be recognized at council meetings where I'm
Woodward,
to be here.
Yes.
Carter,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Taylor Burks.
Yes.
Williams.
Yes. All right, motion passes, which brings us to item number 8, resolution to authorize the mayor to sign easements from the property located at 31 North Saginaw.
Okay.
Madam Deputy?
Good evening, Council President, City Council,
Come on.
and Madam Mayor. We have presented this matter to you at the last council meeting, and I do have as backup our Director of Public Works, but basically, this is an easement that's located on Lawrence Street, and there is an existing doorway that is partially below current grade, which requires a stairwell to access. The easement is for the removal of the existing pavement at the face of the building and the replacement of the stairwell to the door. We are recommending this easement for your consideration, and if you have any specific detailed questions, our Public Works Director is here.
Is there a motion?
Move.
Support.
It's been moved by Councilwoman Doris Taylor Burke, supported by Councilman Woodward. Any city council discussion? Seeing none, roll call.
Carter,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Taylor Burks,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Woodward.
Yes.
Motion passes. Item number 9, resolution to adopt the Michigan Local Pavement Warranty Program and accompanying documents in according with the requirements of MCL 247633.
City Council, under this item, as presented to you at last week's City Council meeting, this is a two-part resolution. The first one is to adopt the Michigan Local Pavement Warranty Program and the accompanying documents that are included in your package. And then the second one is the resolution to implement the local agency pavement warranty program and the reports that are required by law. And both of those both of those items are included in your package. So again, this is a law that's required for us in order to continue our program. But just so you know, it does require two separate resolutions, which is why they're included in your package.
Council President?
Yes.
Yes.
It was my understanding, I got a communication from the DPW director that he wanted to table this until after the DPW subcommittee. So is that correct or not correct?
Amen. That's what he said.
All right.
Okay, so I need a motion to table items 9, 10, and 11 to after the DPW subcommittee.
You say yes. I support that he moved.
Yeah,
Both of those two together, the warranty program.
I move.
Well, I'm just saying, we're talking about road striping. I mean, unless he wants to talk about road striping today.
No, it's just the
Do
warranty.
y'all want to talk about item number 11 today too? Yes or no?
Item number 11,
He's not.
which is the PK contracting? Is
Yeah.
that it? Yes, that we will.
Okay, so we
That's
need to
separate.
table resolution, I need a motion to table items number, no, we did 8 already, 9 and 10
Yeah, I move.
for, to after the DPW sub.
For 1 week.
For 1 week.
Okay.
Okay, support.
All right, it's been moved by Woodward, supported by Councilwoman Doris Taylor Burks. Any city council discussion? Seeing none, roll call?
Miller,
Yes.
Taylor Burks,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Woodward,
Yes.
Carter.
Yes.
All right, which brings us to item number 11, the resolution to authorize the mayor to sign a contract with PK Contracting for road striping.
Yes, and as the DPW director explained at our last meeting, obviously, this is something that the Road Commission has already bid out. We are asking to be part of that. We have reviewed their contract, and we accept pending council approval this agreement. Again, the Public Works Director is here if you have any questions.
Anybody have any questions for Mr. Ballard? Okay. All right. Is there a motion on the floor?
I'll move.
Is there any support?
I support it.
All right, it's been moved by Woodward, seconded by Pro Tem Carter. Any city council discussion?
I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead. Turn on your microphone.
It's on. I'm right now, I'm really kind of confused. When it says road striping, you're not gonna put no more bike lanes and stuff out there, are you?
We're not, I'll have our Public Works Director, but I believe this is just to stripe our roads, but we'll
Just the
confirm.
standard stripe.
Good evening, City Council, good evening, Mayor. This is for the long line striping. This is basically lane delineation, center line striping and striping for the center turn lanes.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
I have one question for you, John, if I may. Where will you be striping? Just the whole city of general? Is it-
All major
how do you-
streets.
So you you don't just determine, like my district, take 5. How do you determine what streets needs to be,
We do every one.
you gonna do every one of them?
All of our streets need, the only ones we wouldn't be doing University because that's currently under construction.
Right, that's under construction.
So anything that's currently under construction, we would not be striping, but everything else will be striped.
Did you get the one that I mentioned last week for downtown?
We will be hitting everything in downtown, with the exception of the ones that are currently under construction, unless it's past that construction timeframe.
Okay.
Anybody else got a question? Okay, roll call?
Taylor Burks,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Woodward,
Yes.
Carter,
Yes.
Miller.
Yes.
All right, motion passes. Which brings us to public comments. Pro Tem Carter?
Thank you. Okay. I'm gonna need some help. I believe is it Gammy Links? Links? Gammy?
Look like Lynn Gilliard.
Just the street help.
On clearing, cutting.
I think it's Persian Avenue.
Okay.
Okay.
Wow, that was.
These addresses.
Well, good day there, Council.
Hello.
And me again, Gary Lloyd. 664 Pershing Avenue. Got my phone number and my name this time. All right, I got a question in 3 parts. One, I went down to the deeds, the city, went down to deeds, found out what he owns. Y'all got a copy of it. And I got another copy here where it says he don't own this lot of property. Y'all got a copy of all that. I give y'all a copy of this to keep everybody on the up and up. Because every time I come out of this room here, Mary from District 3, I can't pronounce her name, sorry about that, but
Fetal.
she runs out, and she tells me, he owns that, and I go, and this time, not to mention names, but I have a witness, and I go, there's something shady here, because every time I come out, she tells me he owns it, and y'all said you was going to do look into it, and I said, okay, well, it took me about 4 hours. I went down to the archives. They didn't have nothing. I went upstairs to the property deeds. They didn't have nothing about the property. I went over to the environmental thing, and they gave me a copy of all the stuff. And I said, cool, all right. The man, this individual that I keep giving you guys copies of, does not own the property. He keeps running people off. He put up no trespassing signs. He's got target deals on the trees. He cleared the whole, no, if I cleared all that property, put up no trespassing signs and took care of it, I would be locked down from now to Sunday. A month of freaking Sundays, man. And I've been up here preaching and telling you all the same thing. I keep everybody on the up and up because I give you all copies. And he has no permits for the forestry, no permits to clear the land. He don't own it. He runs everybody off. He shot holes in boats. He has big dogs. He don't let nobody over there, kids, nobody, because he keeps saying, this is my property. And then even Mary District 3, she runs out here and she says, well, they're looking into it, but he owns everything. And I went down to the archives, I did all my homework, I did everything, and he just don't own it, flat out. Because I gave you a copy of the one paper right here that says, city owned here and city owned here, period. He don't own it. And if I cleared that much property and kept it for myself, shit would, dude, that's a lot of money for property now down lakefront property. How much money is that you're missing out? And he runs off kids, he runs off everybody.
Your time is up, but.
Gotcha, boss. But I'll be back again.
The last question, what was the address again? Pardon me, sir. What's your address?
Where is the address?
On Persian?
664 Pershing Avenue.
664?
Yeah, mine is.
No, on here, is it 664 Persian?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Mike Labardi.
I'm going to jail.
How you doing tonight? I'm here on behalf of the children on my neighborhood concerning the golf balls that are coming from Crystal Lake Golf Course. And I'm going to keep up here and keep telling you people that something needs to be done. This Waterman's tried what she could. She wants to push trees, and that just ain't going to get it for golf balls. Goes right through them. I've tried reaching all out to you. Deputy Mayor won't even respond. Mayor won't even respond. You guys won't respond because you're not my districts, but you should be responding because this has to do with children's lives. I'm going to keep coming up here and talking to you people about this. But I'm going to start having people backing me up because I'm going to say it right now. Every church in this city is going to hear from me. And I'm going to get people to back me up on this because this has to do with children's lives, okay? They're going to be calling you people. They're going to be calling the news because I'm fed up with this. I'm going to get the city citizens to do what needs to be done because I'm fed up with this crap.
Thank you. Next is Billy Swayzer.
There she is.
Yes.
There she is.
Hello, I'm Billy Swayzer, and I'm here to talk about the CEPA agreement, the settlement agreement that the mayor falsified all the information she gave you. Now, the mayor has not been at the GERS board meeting May, June, or July. We've had the letter from her attorney, Miller Canfield attorney, Samantha Kopak, for several months. She has to come and explain her request. That is what happens when you ask for a request that's unlike what you already have. We have a rate of return that we set. It's 7%. Every year, the retirement system does a actuary study to confirm what they've already done, and we just had one done. The city could use that one if they wanted to go to the IRS, but they don't. They don't want to use the rate of return of 7%. They want to use a false return of 3.5%. No one in the United States uses 3.5%. This is a public pension plan. Use the rates that we're using, 7%. That is the rate if you want to make a request. Now, they have some other stuff on there. You can get a public request for the information. They want to have, if you go $400 for a lifetime, forever, to give the retirees $400 forever. That's not the agreement that CEPA settled with the city. They want it, how about if you do it to just 2020, December 2020? But then they bring this joke, and I'm going to call him a joke, because if the council doesn't approve for the finance director, you're not the finance director. You're just somebody, the mayor done brought from Flint, to say he's the finance director. It was not approved. There is nothing that says that he can be approved. Now, John Clark sit here, and he represented both the council and the mayor. You can't do that legally. Attorneys can only represent one side. He didn't say there's a conflict of interest. He just went and told Kermit Williams what he wanted him to do. Kermit Williams passed a resolution. CEPA GERS has not set the finance director. It's an ex officio, but you have to first get the position. He has not become finance director yet, so he cannot sit on the GERS board. I look forward to next Wednesday's meeting, and I hope the mayor comes, and I hope her attorney comes and be ready to present their request.
Thank you, Billy. Miss Claudia Fuller.
Good evening, Madam Deputy Mayor, President Pro Tem Carter, and members of the Pontiac City Council.
Thank you.
I'm here today on behalf of CEPA, so you're going to hear it from my side. You heard it from the mayor, and you're going to hear it from the retiree side now. We've been working with the city for many years, and we reached a settlement agreement. We reached agreement on March 30th, 2018. It's over a year ago, many months ago. And the city knew at that time, they signed the agreement, they knew what their obligations were under that agreement. And some of those obligations included submitting to the IRS, breaking up the GERS and reestablishing it, and establishing a VEBA trust within 90 days of the court's approval of the settlement. We reached the settlement in March of 2018. The judge approved the settlement in November 19th, 2018. The city had 90 days to at least to start the process and at least get the VEBA trust established. The city knew from March that what they had to do. Mm-hmm. Did they make any plans to do anything? No, they did nothing. They did not hire counsel to prepare the documents. They did nothing until just prior to the deadline in February of 2019. And that process has been dragging on and on and on. And now the city is trying again to undermine the settlement agreement by what they're asking of the GERS board. Mm-hmm. Well, the GERS chairman, Walter Moore, just talked to you about the assumptions that have been used historically and accurately in the actuarial evaluations of the GERS plan. I mean, this is nothing new, or it's nothing outlandish, and the mayor is trying to have that cut in half, those assumptions, which will affect the amount available to retirees for their health care. There's no reason for it. It's unconscionable, these delays and this undermining of the agreement. We're at the point where we may have to go back to court, and none of us want to do that. We want this resolved. The retirees, the people who worked for all their working lives providing excellent services to this city, promises were made to them about retiree health care benefits. They have not had their health care benefits or any other benefits they were promised since 2012, when the emergency manager took them away. Now it's time to get this agreement, to honor this agreement and start getting health care benefits available to our people who are sick, aging, and dying. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. H.B. Maxey?
Good evening. Good evening, governance. Mr. and Mrs. Pontiac. I'm sort of out of it tonight. The young lady that died from a heat stroke in Atlanta, 16 years old, that a coach had demanded she run up and down the bleachers, was my relative. She died the same day, 16 years of age, because the coach made a decision. So my thinking isn't all together. Say a prayer for my family, please. The young people that came tonight, accomplishment. You see what extraordinary young people that we have. The church came up and said, show it out and back them. It shows that someone cares about our young people. We have some brilliant young people. Thank you, and I give my expression of thanks to the mayor on this issue and the young people involved. Getting down to Pontiac Urban Institute, which I'm the president and CEO, young folks, stop signing those leases until you call us. When you lease a home, we found out that the home is leased for $1, and about 12 months later, it's $50. And then the proper signatures are not on that. I'll give you a number. The proper signatures are not there. Secondly, it's time for the Promise Zone to recognize us. We are paying $6,000 a year. All you have to do is be citizens of Pontiac. All you have to do is be a high school graduate of Pontiac and live here. No tests, no anything but to fill out the FAFSA and the paperwork. We need students to go to college. We have the money. And I'm trying to think, can't get my thoughts together. And last but not least, we will not have the focus in the park because I'll be in Georgia to the homegoing of my cousin this week. So it will be February the 2nd. But again, to our young people, our young adults, and our seniors, Pontiac Urban Institute is on top of a lot of subject matters, many, many things. So when I get back, I guess my mind will be more together. But there's something else I can't think of what it was now. Anyway, again, congratulations to the young folks. We should be very, very proud of them. They represent 100% of what our young people are all about. And I hope next week I'll have more things together. But remember what I said now. I think it's February the 2nd we'll be back. And we'll be in the park on focused things that will help our people move forward. Not so much as pointing fingers, but we have a lot of resources, a lot of processes that we can go for it. Thank you.
All right, Mr. Richard Bell.
Good afternoon.
The Pontiac Central Class of 1979 and Kids First Initiative are partnering up to bring you the Career Mingle on Sunday, August the 25th, from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. at your emerging space, 7 North Saginaw Street on the 3rd floor, Pontiac, Michigan. Young people in the 6th grade through the 12th grade. And so if you are in the 5th grade and you're a little mature and you're still looking for a career, or if you're graduated already from high school and you're still out there kind of searching and finding we'll still accept you in, we're going to focus on the 6th grade through the 12th grade with your parents. With your parents. Parents, yes, you have to stay with your young people because we have something for you also who are welcome to attend. Young people, we will have light refreshments, Coke products, and also all the pizza that you can eat or all the pizza that we can afford. Parents will have a raffle card for you from Bell Tires of $50. I know you're giving up your time. It's for the kids, but you could be doing other things. Ask you to come out. Some of the topics that we'll be covering or focusing on. What is the difference between a job and a career? And right now I have both, and I'm waiting to get out of my job to get fully into my career. Filling out a job application, and so some of our young people still have not done that online or in paper. We'll have that for them. Who would you hire? It's a wonderful video produced, directed, and starred in by young people, and it's a good way for them to get hands-on and get some input about how to properly prepare for a job or a career interview. And the main focus we want them to get, and what they will get out of this, is a career connect. That's the most important thing. We want our young people to leave here with something tangible, something they can take home, something they can use, a tool that will inspire, motivate, or just encourage them to focus in, choose, or identify a career, any career, wherever they want to go into. Again, on Sunday, August the 25th, the Pontiac Central Chiefs Class of 1979 will be partnered with Kids First Initiative at the Emergent Space. And I say that because I'm a Husky, but the Chiefs have come through on the 3rd floor. All the Pontiac will be out. We'll have light refreshments, a gift card giveaway for the parents. Pontiac Central Chiefs Class of 1979. This is the first time I've been ever approached by a group from their class reunion to come in and give up some of their time instead of just celebrating them and who's there and what they're doing. They wanted to give something back. So all of our young people are welcome. We hope to see you out. You can contact Mrs. Janet Sowell, and I say that Attorney Janet Sowell, she's from Pontiac Product, for questions at 248-805-1329. Our young people can't be what they can't see. This is a great opportunity for them to connect with people who came out of the city of Pontiac, who have moved away but are still looking to support. Again, you can contact Attorney Janet Sowell at 248-805-1329, the Career Mingle. Thank you so much.
All right, next would be Mr. Jeffrey Hawkins. And Mr. Trail.
Mayor, City Council, in light of the agenda item that was on, speaking to the retirement benefits, I can't help but to go back in history to look at a similar situation that took place. When the Fire and Police Pension Board came to City Council and asked for a resolution in order to change the ordinance that allowed chief officers and appointees of the mayor to be able to negotiate their retirement benefits, and that they had to choose in between whether it was a union contract, general employees, etc. But past history was that all chief officers prior to were able to negotiate and get their pension benefits. But what they did was that they relied on the aspect of it's what the IRS says that we have to do in order to do it. So all I'm asking for you to do is to just do your due diligence. Based upon what's being presented to you by the mayor saying that the IRS says that we have to do this in order to make sure that this benefit toward the general retirees happen. It just seems to be the opposite effect that they did in order to get what they needed to get done. But I agree with what the general retirees come here with. There's always assumptions, and the assumptions have always been done by the pension boards. And they set those based upon what is being used in our history, meaning those people that benefit from that retiree benefit that the city pays for. Not going out here to Colorado or going somewhere else and getting numbers from somewhere else and saying, hey, this is what it should be. I'm just saying, just look at that. The other issue that I was going to be at is that if you want to know where the money is to help fund this, then go back and look at your contract that you have for fire and police protection with Waterford based upon EMS, and where is the 2 mills that you're charging for minimum manning going? I'm just saying. With that, I want to say to the Burkett family for your loss, their family, and that's what Pontiac is about. And so I just ask for their prayers and the support that we give the family. Thank you.
Mr. Terrell Taylor.
Well, good evening, everyone. City Council, my name is Terrell Taylor. I'm a financial professional. I specialize in helping families and parents plan for their financial futures. I also love helping a company and a business pursue and get to their true dreams when it comes to be financially. I was born and raised in the city, graduated from this city, and I want to give back to the city. And some of the areas that I help people in are life insurance, financial planning, long-term care, mortgage protection, estate planning, making sure that moms and dads and grandparents can leave a legacy for their children and grandchildren. Some people in my industry, if you don't make a bare minimum of $150,000 or $250,000, they don't even want to talk to you. And I just want to offer that to, the citizens of Pontiac at no charge. My name is Terrell Taylor, 248-986-7336. Thank you.
Say that number one more time.
Again, 248-986-7336, Terrell Taylor.
Okay, you got it. Ooh. Mr. George Williams.
Good evening, council, mayor. When I was sitting up there, I had one rule. Pontiac is the county seat, not Waterford. We can house the jail, but we can't house the executive office of the highest office in the county. Now, I'm glad that the code enforcement head spoke. Last year, the year before, I kept complaining about snow removal of businesses in the city of Pontiac on Telegraph from M59 all the way down to the city limits. Not one business shoveled their walks, either on the west side of Telegraph or the east side. Not one. And you have businesses also there that when they had their snow plowed, they blocked the sidewalks. So you have to climb a mountain to stay on the sidewalk. That's unacceptable. And speaking of the retirees' health plan, a lot of the retirees can't afford their health plans, let alone their death benefits. Their life insurance were probably taken. Now, when you get to that age, where are you going to get a life policy to get buried if something happened? Think about that. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Quincy Stewart, and on deck will be Gloria Spann.
For the second week, I had another speech, but based on some other things, I have to speak. Now, look, let me say this. George Williams and I were sitting in the hallway, and there was a crowd of people out there that were talking loud, and they got on the elevator, and here comes the deputy mayor out in the hallway, and the way she spoke to myself and George, and particularly myself, was reprehensible. Now, let me say this. The deputy mayor doesn't live here, and she makes her money here. She goes out to Holly, or wherever the hell she lives at. And she makes her money, got the unmitigated gall and temerity to talk to a citizen here. I've been here in this town since 1958. That was the year I was born. And she makes her money and leaves and goes somewhere else. Now, Pontiac's not good enough for her to stay in, like a lot of these employees and people that are here. But you don't talk to citizens like that. And I'm the last person in this town. You need to ask somebody. I'm the last person you need to talk to like that, because I will come down here every week and stay all up in your, you know what. You don't talk to citizens like that. Now, those of us who live here, now there's a man sitting in this audience, Baltimore, him and I, boy, we went head to head all the time. And but he lived here, he stayed here, grew up here, and that's why there's still mutual respect. But you don't come here. But you don't come here and do that. You don't come here and do that. You don't live here, and you ain't never gonna live here. Last thing I want to talk about was this. Why is it that a white man can kill 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 people, and it's a mental illness? He's mentally ill. But when a black man does it, or any person of color does it, they're every name in the book but mentally ill. And this is the disparity. You can be white in this country and commit the most heinous acts, and still the excuse is you mentally ill. Not that you're evil. Not that you've done something from a place that is so evil that it's just downright evil. It's got to be you're mentally ill. But when black folks do something, we're predators, and some of the other words that are used to describe young black boys who, I'm not excusing that either if there are murders in Chicago and Detroit and everywhere else, but look at the names that they used to call young black men. And look at the names. Now, and as a matter of fact, the only way that a white man can get killed when he does something like that is if he's shooting at the police right then and there. Normally, he's taken into custody without incident. A black man, if my son and I could be riding right now through Bloomfield Hills and get arrested get stopped on a traffic ticket, and I'm risking my life on a traffic ticket, but a white man can shoot everybody up and get taken into custody and even get taken to Burger King.
Ms. Gloria Spann, and on deck would be Dr. Robert Price.
Good evening, everyone, to the council and to the mayor. My name is Gloria Harston Spann, and I don't come up here unless I have to say something. People and the members of our club have been asking about different people not coming into the city of Pontiac and not recognizing the Pontiac Democratic Club. There are members here and all over the city who belong to the club. There are so many things that's going to be happening in the next year or two in the political field. But we have a club here, and you have to recognize us as Democrats. If you're a Democrat, recognize this club. If you're not, join the club, because the year 2021 is going to be very busy. I wanted you to know who I am. I am the chair of the Pontiac Democratic Club. Let me know, please, what you're coming into the city for, because I don't want anyone calling me asking, well, where's the club? We have a club here in Pontiac. Don't bring everybody and everything into Pontiac and don't let us know, because I'm going to tell them no. I don't join everything. I don't go to everything, because sometimes it's not necessary. But you've got to respect this club. You've got to respect who belongs to this club and the elected members of that club. So I'm just letting you know who I am and what's it going to be about. I'll be back here. Pontiac Democratic Club was way before I even got involved with it, and is respected when things come into the city. So I want to remind you that the city of Pontiac, there is a Pontiac Democratic Club. We are Democrats, and I'm proud to be a Democrat. And those of you who call yourself Democrats, you should be proud of it. But if you're not, then you need to think about it because of what's going on now. So when you come to Pontiac, let us know. That's any official that says they're a Democrat from the top to the bottom. Thank you very much.
All right, Dr. Price, and then Kenny Anderson on deck.
God bless everybody tonight. I come to speak to you in respects to my deceased brother. My deceased brother dedicated his life to serving this community and Oakland County. He did a lot of great and wonderful things for the county and the city. A lot of people that got hired in Oakland County was a result of what Hubert Price did. A lot of people that hired in Oakland County was a result of what Hubert Price did. So I'm asking you to come together to rename Burdett Park Price Park. It was called Price Park when Hubert instituted from the county level the park being renovated. So I'm asking in memorial conscience, rename Burdett Park Price Park. Also, the state senate and Oakland County are considering giving Hubert a Memorial Accommodation Award to the family of Hubert Price for the great work that he did for the county and the city of Pontiac when he was alive. So remember that, but we got to put in place first, remembering Hubert, to rename Burdett Park Price Park. And anyone, if you would like to join in with me to get this done, and done as soon as we possibly can, I would appreciate it. Because Hubert lived a life and he died tragically. Hubert died tragically. But I remember my brother. And Walter Moore was a very great mayor for the city. So remember Hubert Price Jr. as much as you possibly can. In his last days, he was faltering. He was dying. He knew about his death a lot sooner than most people. But he stayed strong to the day he died. Remember Hubert Price, please. Thank you.
Mr. Kenny Anderson, and I know she's a school board person, Shaquaqua Smith, Shaquana, I'm sorry, my bad.
Good evening, and the struggle for black democratic human rights continues. The topic of my address this evening is America's racial equality hypocrisy, the Negro black problem. Recently, the New York Times released their 1619 project, 400 years since slavery began. The 1619 project was written by a collection of black writers to reframe this country's history, emphasizing that America's founding democratic ideals were false when they were written. Yes, these ideals were a flat-out lie. American democracy was a white supremacy ideal and its government based on institutional racism. Brother Malcolm X told us frankly that American ideals of racial equality is a myth. Its beginning is hypocritical, a contradiction of white freedom and black enslavement. From the start of slavery, 1619, to this present day, blacks have constantly fought against this racist political contradiction for equality. Many white conservatives have attacked the 1619 Project release as propaganda. In other words, false historical analysis. Indeed, many conservatives use their propaganda to minimize slavery. They want to revise and rewrite slavery right out of American history. They want to do away with Gunnar Myrdal said was the Negro problem. Myrdal was a Swedish economist who wrote a 1944 study on race relations titled An American Dilemma, the Negro Problem in Democracy. Myrdal concluded that the Negro-black problem is a white man's problem, that Negroes are victims of widespread racism. W.E. Du Bois said the Negro-black problem was the problem of the color line, the racial divide. The Kerner Commission in 1968, a study on race relations, concluded that the U.S. was two Americas, one white, one black, separate and unequal. The Kerner Commission revisited 2018, 50 years later, reported that in many instances, the socio-economic conditions of blacks have worsened. Indeed, the Negro-black problem is America's ongoing contradiction. It constantly exposes America's hypocrisy, the myth of racial equality. The Negro-black problem is constantly disruptive. It's costly. Like the NFL black football players kneeling protest. The white power structure needs thirsty black leaders to manage, pacify the Negro-black problem that they don't want to solve. NFL owners brought in paid Jay-Z to pacify black players and black boycotters. Most black leaders today are opportunistic middlemen, women, brokers using black folks' suffering outrage as bargaining chips to make some money. The struggle continues.
Ms. Renee Beckley? I didn't see her. Thank you. No, she was next. They were together.
Oh.
Okay.
Insults of insults. Let me get this mic because I'm going to be up here. Okay. First of all, council. Nobody knew this. List the 5 at-large areas. I have 2. Glenwood Plaza, and this is a source from a trustee at Newman Church. J. Allen Parker Drive behind Newman Church is another. Where's the other 3? Okay, first of all, no notice, nothing in the mail, nobody knew anything. All I knew was last time you talked, downtown, they want to trade drunk into high as the sky and people marijuana, that's their business downtown. Here's another mail. Caesar Walton, this is Walton, this is what I knew. Caesar Chavez, had no problem with that. Thank you, Kermit, for mentioning that at the Bowen Center about the marijuana coming to Glenwood Plaza. If you had said nothing, I would have knew. Why my neighbor that lives right behind Glenwood Plaza, all it is a driveway, Kmart. So over here, Harper Street, same situation, driveway, Kmart. That's too close. A marijuana grower and processor, and the applications for the stores come out in October. So we're going to get 3-car Monty over there. We don't want that. Get a fire. We don't know what's spraying on the those plants. We don't know. That's our tax bill, our insurance. Remember that. My neighbor can't sell her house. She's retired. How about she want to move? Nobody gonna want to be behind no marijuana plant. I mean, y'all didn't tell anybody. How that's going to affect the neighborhood and our property values? I'm telling you right now, I'm going to start a political action committee, and I'm coming from A to Z, all the way down. The one I like, the ones I know, the one that I work with, and the one that's my rep too, y'all included. And this over here that you can't deal with also, I saw you with Snyder on Facebook, hooked up on Jane Bias DeCessa, Deputy Mayor. Okay, now, also about this cursor writing, I had a adult grandparent say, the grandchild asked, Papa, what's cursor? Okay, and those bike lanes. Perry Street cannot, people that live on Perry Street cannot get out of the driveway because the traffic is backed up. Get those bike lanes removed, Dr. Deidre Waterman. You won't be so bad. It's supposed to have your name on there. If they put your name on there. Because I'm taking action. I'm starting a political action committee right here. I'm tired. I'm fed up. My neighbors are tired. I'm sick and tired. And then this lady that I helped going to get promote y'all just because somebody get a lot of votes, somebody's popular, don't mean they right. I can't say her name because everybody gonna say you're jumping on the lady and she's all good and everything. Yes, she's good, but she's wrong on this one. Thank you.
Okay, all right. Ms. Taylor, Veronica Taylor, then Pastor Kathy, and then Mel. Ready?
Please. Hi, Council, Mayor, the City of Pontiac. My name is Evangelist Taylor of Hardworking Mom Services. I'm coming to let you know that Films for Them is putting on a...
Mike?
Can you hear me? Okay, I'll take the mic.
There you go.
Our community picnic here, hosted by Films for Them Democrat Board, here Saturday, August 24th at 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. at Murphy Park. We're asking you to come out. Our own state representative, Brenda Carter, will be there. Our Councilman Pro Carter, Randy Carter, will be there. And you all also have a flyer and invited to it. We'll never know who will be there at this park, so we're asking you to come out. The kids are putting on events for the kids. Eat up, meet up, and greet up. Get to know your neighbors and get to know one another. And try to love one another in this city without criticizing one another. Let's come together as a family like you say you want to do. Let's put action to what we do.
Thank you, Pastor Kathy.
Good evening. When I started tonight, I had two things, but I've added one. It's been an interesting meeting tonight. I'm very disturbed by what happened at the youth center this week. And I'm certainly hoping that something very constructive and very positive comes out of that, because that can't happen again. Number two, the what do they call it? Cathedral Community Cafe is the new name for the cafe that is now feeding the homeless home-cooked meals 5 nights a week. They're on Branch Street in the old, what used to be New Bethel Church, and it's in the old church. 22-plus churches and organizations are involved in this feeding program now. We have gotten tremendous funding, and Gleaners is involved. Gosh, we got all kinds of food from Gleaners the other day, a whole box truck full. We can't cut carrots fast enough. It's just been an amazing outpouring of help. And we're feeding right now about 30. During the winter, before we moved up there, we had about 60. And we assume by winter we'll have that big group again. We're running a bus to pick them up one round right now, but there will be 2 starting in September. It's just been really interesting. Some of the people that we've been working with have gone into rehabilitation programs. Others have found housing through the various housing associations here in town, who come to our meetings and our dinners and help these people. The veterans have gotten involved, and we have different programs for our veterans. There's a group called Reboot who has gotten involved, and they're helping our vets with our homeless vets that have PTSD and other issues. So it's been very exciting to watch this coming together. Anytime you want to cook a meal, call me, because I'll be happy to give up a night and let you help. The last thing, I don't know how many of you are aware that there is a bill going before our governor called the Fetal Heartbeat Protection Act. What we want to do is get people to sign petitions, thank you, senior moment, so that you cannot perform an abortion once a fetal heartbeat has been determined. I will have constantly, beginning next week, I will be carrying petitions. Anytime you see me, stop me. I'll be happy to help you with them. We do not want to become another New York City. We want to do the right thing, the moral thing, I'm a pastor, the scriptural thing, but we also think that life is at conception, and therefore murdering babies is probably not a real good thing to do. And, it's time, sorry, thank you.
All right.
My speech is called Jane, Jane, Are You Insane? On Friday, August the 16th, the Pontiac community came together to celebrate the Dream Cruise. Many local and outside businesses were allowed to provide for their families, were allowed to sell their goods to the community, all except one elected official and a minority business owner named Shaquana Smith. See, Shaquana was stopped because the code enforcement officer, Patrick, told her that she's not allowed to sell at the Pontiac Public Library, which is a separate entity from the City of Pontiac. Did you know that? He was told that by her supervisor, Jane DeCessor, our deputy mayor, who makes 6 figures. So while Jane got her check on Friday, Shaquana wasn't able to provide for her family. While Jane drove to Holly, Shaquana couldn't get no gas. While Jane got to eat at Joe Muller's, Shaquana had to figure out how she was going to sell her goods that she made after she gives over hundreds of hours donating her time and her talents to the citizens of Pontiac. A minority business owner on the Pontiac Public Library property was told by your code enforcers that she was not allowed to sell her goods for the Pontiac Public Library fundraiser. Just like we don't come to City Hall and bother you guys, you have no judicial authority at the Pontiac Public Library. Maybe we should remind Jane. We should remind Jane that while she's trying to dictate to our organization, let's deal with Dennis Thompson for a minute, shall we? Who you've been trying to get a background check who hasn't passed, and he has 2 warrants for his arrest. Let's deal with facts. Let's deal with you're about to lose your financial director because of the way you dictate to people. So while Jane is trying to rule the city and govern the enforcers and not let Shaquana Smith make money to provide for her family, do your due diligence and do your job. You are attacking minority business owners in the busiest time of the year. And the question is, while Jane is making her 6 figures, what happened to Shaquana? Now, today I went and talked to Jane. Jane first, she told me it didn't happen, didn't occur, and I'm a person that deals with facts, not fictions or emotions, so I called Shaquana Smith, who is an elected official, and on the board, they just put her on for the scholarship committee, and she asked one question, did it happen? And she said yes. So I think Jane, who makes 6 figures a year, Jane, who gets paid to be the deputy mayor of Pontiac, should donate to Shaquana Smith business because she stopped her from making money to feed her family on property that the city of Pontiac does not run, does not control, does not dictate, has nothing to do with. When you attack the Pontiac Public Library, and that's why I love having a board member with me, we deal with facts, not based on emotion. We don't come to City Hall and tell y'all that I have to do anything. Don't come over to the library hurting our fundraiser that we provide for children for backpacks, I mind you. So Jane, because you're so adamant about being able to do things in decency and order, do the right thing for Shaquana. Write her a check the same way you stopped her from making money during the Dream Cruise. I'm Melanie Rutherford, and I approve of this message. Thank you.
President? Oh, well, I'm sorry, my bad. Dwayne Line, I'm sorry.
Yeah, you got another page.
I'm sorry, my bad.
Oh, no problem. Good evening, Madam Mayor, Deputy Mayor, Council President, City Clerk. Monique, how you doing? I just came here today to talk about a very pressing issue for the city of Pontiac. I remember when we first started talking about the Phoenix Center, everybody was so adamant about keeping it or getting rid of it.
now the day has come and we can talk about it a lot further. Mayor Waterman's doing a town hall Wednesday, August 28th from 6 to 8 p.m. It will be atop of the Phoenix Center in the amphitheater. We were up there a couple of days ago. It looks really good up there. You get a chance to get up there and remember the heyday of the Phoenix Center. I performed up there a couple of times myself to remember all the fun and family time that you spent up there in concerts and all types of events. So on Wednesday, August 28th from 6 to 8 p.m., we're encouraging all the citizens to come out and help us to continue the discussion about what to do with the Phoenix Center, how we're going to pay for it, how we're going to proceed with this wonderful venue. There will be designers, attorneys, contractors, and local leaders to answer your questions. So we encourage you to come out. There will be wheelchair access. Also, there will be ushers to direct you as you come to the garage. If you're not sure, where the garage go, when you enter into the Phoenix building, the garage, that's the entrance, and we'll have ushers and people to show you how to get to the amphitheater. It's a little walk, because you have to go in and go up on the second level, and then you have to go across the court to where the stage is. So some seniors probably will need some assistance, so we'll provide some wheelchairs to get them to that area. But I think it's a very important discussion that everyone in the city should be a part of, because, hey, the Phoenix Center was a wonderful place. We had a lot of great times there. So I think it's important to the city, if we want to bring the good times back. I got to say, the Dream Cruise this year was fabulous. I mean, we had a really, really great time. Everybody was having fun and participating, and I don't know about y'all, but I like to have a lot of fun. I like to, enjoy people and have a good life with my brother and my sister. So again, Wednesday, August 28th, from 6 to 8 p.m., we want you all to come out and to participate in a discussion about the Phoenix Center. Thank you so much.
Mr. President, any public comments?
Thank you, Pro Tem Carter. Madam Mayor.
Yes, I just want to emphasize what Dwayne Lyons just said, to invite you all to the town hall next Wednesday, August 28th. And we decided, since there's been so much talk about the Phoenix Center, so many people have been asking me, well, what's happening with the Phoenix Center? Come and find out, Ball's in the council's court now, so we want to push them along and say, let's make this decision so we can meet the deadlines for getting this started, so we can get, we don't have to go back to court on this. So Wednesday, August 28th, we'll have all kind of people. You've seen the mobile display we have downstairs in the lobby showing some of the visioning and the ideas of what could possibly happen to the Phoenix Center. Looks wonderful. So we are going to, for those who come and hear the discussion and be part of that, you can ask all the questions you want from 6 to 8. We're going to have also a surprise element. One of those features that you see downstairs, we're going to initiate it right there to show it is possible here in Pontiac. It's great. We don't have to lose this like we lost the Silverdome, like we lost all the other community centers. It's ours to keep, but we have to move some deadlines, and we want you to know all about that and what you can do and what could happen. Pontiac Power Week, we just ended, that's become a brand now. There were so many people who came out having a great time, great day. And so it was just a lovely week, because now we started with Roadkill and ended with a Dream Cruise. And I must say, I'm surprised at the comments about Shaquana Davis. We introduced something this year called Downtown Expo, in which we allowed downtown business people to come to Lot 9. We were able to rent Lot 9. And so people who wanted to sell their wares and have certain retail things, they came downtown to Lot 9. Shaquana Davis was one of those we did, and we supplied everything for her. I actually spoke to her yesterday, and she said she was so pleased with the opportunity to come down and be part of this. She did it exceedingly well. And so she stayed the whole time for Downtown Expo. And the downtown business people say, do that again next year, because we were glad for that. So we had a wonderful week. Shaquana Davis was part of that, so I'm not sure what the other conversation was about you just heard. And we are continuing the parties, Friday night parties during the summer for the seniors. And this week, I'm going to be the host for that one, Friday night for all seniors, 55 and older now,
who want to come, and we're having a multicultural party, and we're giving prizes for the best ethnic costumes. So we're proud of the fact that we are a diverse society. It's going to be at Ruth Peterson Center. We'd like to make sure that both centers get the Friday night parties, as we say. I don't think some people realize that we give as much to one center as to the other. Make sure. It's from 6 to 10, 6 to 10, and there'll be some other surprises. We have some multicultural performers and music and food, and we're going to have a good time. So seniors, 6 to 10, Ruth Peterson Center, Friday.
All right. Mr. Clerk.
No comments.
Attorney Sharp.
Did she hear you?
No comment. All right. Councilwoman Doris Taylor Burks.
Thank you, Mr. President. First, I would like to give my condolences to the family of Liz Bond. Liz Bond passed away. Her funeral will be this Friday, but she had moved back to Tennessee, her hometown. So that's where the funeral will be. And also my condolences to the Causey family and the loss of her brother. So they both families have my condolences. And I am hosting an informational town hall meeting Friday, August the 30th at Ruth Peterson Senior Center from 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. The owners of Glenwood Plaza will be there to answer any questions or concerns about the upcoming project for the plaza. So it's open to anyone that wants to come, not just District 6. It's open to the city, whoever wants to come. And for the retirees, my heart goes out to you. It really goes out to you, because I'm telling you, if it was the UAW, it would be some fire going on. You know, I mean, that is horrible that you cannot get your benefits that you have worked for, and when after you retire, you're getting older, not younger, and things is going on in your body. And for somebody to hold it up as long as you guys been out, I mean, unbelievable. Just totally unbelievable. I feel so bad. And as far as Glenwood Plaza is concerned, there are rumors out that I am behind marijuana and all this kind of stuff. That is not true. These people purchased that property. And I met with them because they wanted to meet with me. They asked me, what do you want to see on that property? I said, a real grocery store. And they said, you got it. Marijuana is going to be throughout the city, not just in District 6 and downtown. So it doesn't matter whether you supported me before and you don't know what I'm going to do in 2021. I might not even be here. So, you know, keep my name out of your mouth. If you allow people to make more with deposits in your life, you will be out of balance and in the negative. Know when to close the account. Have a good night.
All right. Dr. Taylor, you ain't going nowhere but to the adult prom with me next year. Councilwoman Miller.
Thank you, Mr. President. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, District 5. I first want to get business out the way. John is not here, but the deputy mayor and mayor, I'll give him a call tomorrow. I'm going home now. On my way home, I'll go up Featherstone. I'm being told by the residents on Featherstone that the lights are out and it's dark. Please get those lights back on. Well, it goes to show you I'll be in early at night, because I normally probably would have seen it, but I didn't. I have no idea. So the lights are out, and I'm being told they turn them out every year. at this time of year, and please stop turning them out. So, I know you can't answer me, Mayor or Deputy Mayor, but I need to find out who's responsible for the lighting on Featherstone. Okay. Well, okay, so it's DPW. Okay, so I got that out the way. University Place, I spoke with Patrick on that. I won't really on that. Kenilworth, even though I adopt these streets in this president's district, but I take it as my district. Anything over by me, I take care of it. And I thank the president for allowing me to do so. It need to be repaved. I need to talk to John about that. It's quite terrible. Kenilworth. And I discussed the issue of coming down Featherstone in the grass. I go on these things because it's like anything that you have. When people come in your city and see it all grown up, they naturally think, oh, wow, they don't care. And that's quite the contrary, because there are many people in the city take care of their property. And so I just feel that code enforcement is doing a good job, but I think it needs, it's something missing. And that something is the businesses, they're not cutting their grass and they're not keeping it up to date. And I mean, to ride around the city and see it all grown up like this, it breaks my heart. And Mayor Moore, while you're sitting there, I will say this publicly. When you was mayor, you kept this baby clean. I know because I was here, I worked. You kept this city clean. And, you know, I mean, he may have a problem with you. I don't know what they were, but you kept it clean. And I appreciate you for that. I also want to say this. I'm going to mention the CPRA because, not because I'm a former employee, these are my colleagues. And if you run the tape back, about 8 months ago, I said, I ran into an old coworker and he said, we are dying. And probably by the time I get my insurance, I'll be dead, Gloria. I said that here. My colleague said I wouldn't tell the truth, but it was true. And all I'm going to say is this. When we fought that, if you can go back and roll the tape back and go back in time, I got to hurry up, is that this administration fought us hard not to get that insurance. They fought us hard. They didn't want us to have it. So think about it, Mayor. They want us to die because they don't want us to get the money. So if they prolong it, we die. We're just going to die. And that's just fact. Because what is being done to these past employees is unacceptable. And I agree with you, Quincy. Stop allowing someone to come into the city and telling you what to do. Good night.
Pro Tem Carter?
Oh, hello, everyone. I guess I won't be long. I was going to talk about a lot of things. I decided not to. One is, I think it's almost senseless having a meeting at the Phoenix Center, especially for people who are handicapped. It never was designed for handicapped people. So I don't expect too many people to be there.
No,
I definitely won't be there. I mean, this is the issue we got to deal with.
Right.
And yeah, if we get called out, we have to vote on it. We weren't part of this lawsuit. We weren't involved with it. We did get a chance to vote on it. And yes, I did vote no, because I thought it was idiotic lawsuit. I think the man that bought the property, leave the person alone. Now we're gonna be up to our armpits in alligators that we need to spend some money. The only thing I can see is, and I could care less about all those beautiful amenities. When I look at the lawsuit, it says, addition to the city reaffirming specific obligation imposed upon Pontiac to repair and maintain the Phoenix Center on a expedited, ongoing basis. I have no idea what it means, and I have no idea what it costs. So, whatever is in the lawsuit, I just reported you, that's all we know. So, I can't say it's 16 million, I can't say it's 19 million. I don't know what it is. All I know is that we weren't invited to the party, we weren't at the table. There you go. So, there's a lawsuit that happened, and we weren't there. Now, we're getting information on how to deal with it. I can look at this just like I'm looking at CPRA. I don't know what happened with CPRA, and I don't know where the city is, but I know I got the opportunity to vote on something. And I'm looking at the CPRA, and I know most of the people very well, and I understand. I also look at the laws, and Ms. Beckley, Claudia, you're absolutely right. I think it was March of last year. You guys came out with a blue and white book. I read it cover to cover. That's why I was asking about, the cafeteria plan is not in there. The URSA plan is not inside that book. So there are different people talking on different things that maybe we'll get bits and pieces on how we are to vote on it. I don't know what I know what actually is that ideally you can live to 70 and you're supposed to be dead. That's what it means. Now, all of the money stays in the fund. That's what I know what actuarially is. So when I figure out how many people there is, 1,500 people, I don't know where they're at, just add the money up and figure out how much money you got in the pot. You got 150%, 200% overfunded, that's one thing. When it comes down to health care, that's a whole different animal, and I know it's in the lawsuits that it wasn't even really talked about. It was a benefit you had while you was working. If somebody want to cut that baby up and make health care with pension, that's fine, but somehow somebody got to get some numbers together. 8% to me is a fine thing that should last forever. But I don't know if you don't hire any more people, that you can add more money out of somebody's paycheck to make that number bigger. Good night.
Good evening, everybody. Good evening. Good evening, everybody. Good evening. First of all, I'll make the announcement out of the way. Macedonia Missionary Baptist Church, 512 Pearsall Street, is having a male chorus old school gospel explosion Sunday, August 25th at 3:30 p.m. So if you want to hear some old school gospel, make sure you come out there. Let me address the 5 at large of marijuana. There are no designations for where the 5 can go. They can go anywhere in the city. So all of that has to be a special exemption from the planning after they get through the process, which I'm tired of talking about marijuana in general, but I just want to let people know that there are no 5 designated spots that are on the maps that are there. There's 5 at large, so it could be anywhere in the city that fits and gets through the planning. So I just want to clarify that for everybody so everybody can be clear on that page. I want to take my last 2 minutes to kind of talk about some grace in the city. There are some severe things that are happening to our city right now, but there's some things that are on the horizon for our city that we need to have a vision and a plan for. We're never going to be right until we deal with our retirees. So whatever needs to happen to make that happen, let's make that happen. The reason I'm asking these questions tonight is because we don't know. And so it just continues to go on, because I was under the understanding about 6 months ago that the paperwork had been filed to the IRS and we were just waiting on a result, because I read a press release from the city. And so then when I found out, no, there's additional things that need to happen, then that's what it is. But that has to be done. These people need to be made whole. And I think we got one of the better agreements possible. We can't tout the greatness of the agreement and then say we're not going to follow through with the rest of the agreement. Either it's good for the city or it's bad and we need to go back to court and be done with it. If not, then we need to make sure we can do what we can do to give the retirees their money. The pension is severely overfunded, meaning, in my estimation, everybody who is in the system, if they expire, there'll still be money in the system. The question is, and the argument the emergency manager started off with was, when everybody gets kicked out of the system or they die or they expire, then the money goes back to the city, and how much money will the city get? And that's always been the underlying question with all of this discussion when it comes with retiree, and this happened before Mayor Waterman got here, so it's not a slight on her. I'm just saying that was the general principle, was how much money is going to come back to the city when there's no longer people in the pension system. That was the push to go to MERS in the first place, to get the money to the state, so the overfunding would come to the city. The retirees came to the table and said, we will give you money to fill a health care obligation that the city technically should be filling with pension money. I think that's a good idea. And so it's there now, so we should do it. Good night, Pontiac. We need to get that resolved.
Good night, everyone.
Good night. I ran out of time, Randy. I couldn't get to my big points.
Hey. There was so much stuff I thought about.
The only thing I said was no notice is sent down and all 7 workers. So whoever wants to stand there.